Ever walk into a store, like, just browsing
Yeah.
and somehow walk out with, like, bags of stuff you didn't even know you needed?
Happens to the best of us.
Or maybe you've, like, agreed to things that you weren't initially thrilled about, all just because of how someone you know asked. You're not alone. That's exactly what we're diving into today.
Mm.
So today we're going beyond just listing, Dr. Robert Cialdini's 6 principles of influence. We're really diving deep into the fascinating, the nuances, the real-world applications of these principles, how they work, why they work so well on us,
Exactly.
and how we can even use them maybe a little bit
Mm-hmm.
to our advantage
For
sometimes.
sure. For sure.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, I'm excited. So to kick things off, why don't you, give us a quick overview of what makes these principles so powerful and effective?
Yeah. So what's really intriguing about Cialdini's 6 principles is that they're not about, you know, trickery or manipulation.
Right.
They're really based on these fundamental patterns of human behavior that have evolved over time.
Interesting.
Like they
Yeah.
really tap into our deep-seated need for connection and belonging and just making sense of the world around us.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's start with reciprocation. We've all heard the saying, like, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
Right.
But there's so much more to it than that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to it than just that simple tit-for-tat exchange.
Right.
It really taps into like a deep-seated sense of obligation.
Obligation.
Like studies have shown that people are way more likely to agree to something or comply with a request if they've previously gotten a favor,
Really?
even if that favor was small or insignificant.
Like, even if it's something small.
Yeah,
So you're telling me that, like, offering a colleague a piece of gum could, like, increase their willingness to help me out later?
it's certainly possible. It's all about triggering that feeling of indebtedness,
Oh, wow.
even if it's on a subconscious level.
Not just like,
Yeah. Remember that time like a stranger held the door open for you?
oh,
And
yeah.
you felt like, oh, I got to hold it for the next person.
Yeah.
That's reciprocation at work.
Wow. I never thought of it that way. You just blew my mind.
Yeah.
So how can we use this principle effectively without, seeming like we're being manipulative?
Right.
Like, how do we do it genuinely?
The key is to just be genuine and offer favors or help without any expectation of an immediate return.
Oh.
It's about building goodwill
Mhm.
and fostering a sense of reciprocity in your relationships. And remember, small gestures can have a really big impact.
Mm.
Like a handwritten thank you note or offering to help with a task can go a long way.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So we've established that we humans, we have this like innate drive to return favors.
Right.
But what about that feeling of like needing to stay true to our word?
Right.
That brings us to the principle of commitment and consistency, right?
Exactly. Once we make a commitment, especially a public one, we feel this strong internal pressure to act consistently with that commitment.
Like we have to follow through.
Yeah, it's about maintaining a consistent self-image and avoiding that, discomfort of cognitive dissonance.
Oh, cognitive dissonance. I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so give me an example. Like, how does this play out in real life?
Okay, so think about when you announce a new fitness goal to all your friends.
Yeah.
You're certainly way more motivated to actually go to the gym.
Because they're all watching.
Yeah, because you don't want to seem inconsistent or flaky.
Right. You've made that public declaration.
Exactly. That public declaration creates a sense of accountability.
Accountability.
You're not just accountable to yourself, but also to those people that you shared your goal with.
That's a really good point. So how can we leverage this principle effectively, say, in a workplace setting?
One way is to just involve team members in those decision-making processes.
Oh.
When people feel like they've had a voice
Yeah.
and they've actively committed to a plan, they're much more likely to follow through.
So they feel more ownership.
Yeah, even getting a verbal agreement on a small task can increase that accountability and boost engagement.
That's a great tip. Now let's talk about something that's incredibly powerful yet often overlooked. The principle of social proof. We are social creatures, right?
Yes.
And we tend to look to others for cues on how to behave, especially in like new situations,
Yeah.
unfamiliar situations.
It's like that age-old saying, monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah.
But it goes so much deeper than just imitation.
Mm.
Social proof really taps into our need for belonging and that desire to make the right choices.
Mm-hmm.
We assume that if a lot of other people are doing something, it must be a good idea.
Right. Like there's safety in numbers.
Exactly.
I see this all the time with online reviews.
Oh, yeah.
If a product has, thousands of positive reviews,
For sure.
I'm way more likely to buy it, even if I've never even heard of the brand before.
Totally.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a perfect example of how marketers leverage social proof.
Right.
And it's not just limited to like consumer choices.
Right.
Think about how often we're influenced by what our friends, family, colleagues are doing.
Hmm.
If everyone in your office is raving about a new productivity app, you're probably more likely to check it out too.
Yeah, it's almost like an unspoken code of conduct.
Yeah.
If everyone else is doing it, it must be the right thing to do.
Well, not always. It's important to remember that social proof can sometimes lead us astray.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just because something is popular doesn't automatically mean it's the best choice for you.
Okay.
It's crucial to be aware of this principle and, make decisions based on your own needs and values, not just what everyone else is doing.
That's such an important point. It's like we have to be mindful
Right.
of how social proof can influence us in both, positive and negative ways.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've covered reciprocation, commitment, and consistency, and social proof. Now let's delve into a principle that's both powerful and, dare I say, a bit sneaky.
The principle of liking.
Ah, yes, the friend zone of persuasion.
Oh, tell me more about that one.
It may seem obvious,
Okay.
but we are way more likely to say yes to people we like. And liking can be influenced by, a variety of factors,
It does.
from shared interests and values to physical attractiveness to even just a genuine smile.
So it's more than just, being charming.
Right.
It's about like a genuine connection.
Yeah, it's like that instant connection you feel with someone who shares your passion for, I don't know, vintage vinyl records
Okay.
or obscure documentaries. You're suddenly more open to their ideas and suggestions.
I get it.
Yeah,
Because you feel like you already have that common ground.
exactly. And it's not just about these grand passions either.
Oh, eh?
Simple gestures, like a genuine compliment or remembering someone's name,
Oh, yeah.
can create a sense of warmth and connection that makes them more receptive to your message.
It's like that, feeling seen, feeling heard. I was reading about that study where waiters who simply repeated their customers' orders back to them
Oh, yeah.
received like significantly higher tips. It's like that subtle validation creates, a sense of rapport,
For sure.
makes people feel understood.
Absolutely. And this principle just highlights the importance of building those genuine connections
Mhm.
in both personal and professional relationships.
Right.
It's about finding common ground, showing empathy, and fostering that sense of trust to mutual respect.
So it's really just about being authentic
Yeah.
and building genuine rapport.
Mhm.
What about those times when being likable isn't enough?
Right.
Like sometimes you really need to, establish your expertise, your knowledge.
Exactly.
Right.
You're leading us perfectly into our next principle,
Yeah.
authority.
Okay.
We're naturally inclined to defer to experts
Oh, for sure.
and people in positions of authority. We trust their judgment, and we're more likely to follow their recommendations.
It's like that feeling you get when a doctor is giving you advice. You might not fully understand all the medical jargon they're using,
Exactly.
but you trust their expertise and you're going to follow their instructions.
Hmm. And it's not always about formal titles or credentials.
Okay.
Authority can also be established through experience and knowledge.
Right. So you can be an expert without having a fancy degree.
Yeah. And even just confidence in your demeanor,
Mm.
like how you present yourself.
Okay, so if I'm trying to pitch a new idea at work,
Right.
it might be helpful to subtly mention my past successes,
Okay. Exactly.
Similar projects highlight relevant research to back up my claims.
Yeah, by showcasing that knowledge and experience, you're establishing your authority and increasing the perceived value of your ideas.
So it's about building that credibility.
Yeah. And remember, authority doesn't have to be intimidating.
Okay.
It's about confidently sharing your expertise and providing valuable insights.
Okay, I like that. So we've covered reciprocation, commitment, and consistency,
Mm.
social proof liking, and authority. Now let's talk about a principle that's often used in marketing,
Right.
but can also be applied, in everyday life, scarcity.
Ah, yes, scarcity.
Tell me more about how this works on us.
Scarcity plays on our fear of missing out.
Oh, FOMO.
Yeah. When we perceive something as rare or limited, we just automatically give it more value.
Right.
This can lead to, impulsive decisions
Yep.
and a heightened sense of urgency.
So those Black Friday sales where people are camping out overnight
Exactly.
just to get a, limited edition TV or some gadget.
Yeah, and it's not just about material possessions.
Mm-hmm.
Scarcity can apply to opportunities, experiences, even information.
Mm.
Think about exclusive events or limited time offers. They create that sense of urgency
Oh, yeah.
and make us feel like we need to act now
Okay.
before we miss out.
So if I'm trying to get my friends to commit to a weekend trip, I might casually mention there are only a few spots left at the
Exactly.
cabin or whatever.
By highlighting that limited availability, you're increasing the perceived value of the trip
Oh, that's good.
and encouraging your friends to make a decision.
To get on board.
Yeah.
I'm thinking now how we can use this on ourselves
Oh, yeah.
instead of focusing on what we lack.
Right.
Maybe we can reframe our thinking and appreciate those unique opportunities and
Oh,
experiences that we have right now.
that's a great point.
Like viewing each day as a limited time offer to
Yeah.
learn and grow and connect.
I love that.
We can tap into that power of scarcity
Mm-hmm.
and really like live more intentionally,
Yeah,
make the most of the present moment.
for sure.
This has already been like such an insightful dive into the nuances of Cialdini's 6 principles.
Yeah.
We've unpacked, how reciprocation, commitment, and consistency, social proof,
Liking a thing.
liking authority,
Yep.
and scarcity can be used to really influence decisions and
Right.
shape behavior. But we're just getting started.
We've only just begun to explore the depths of these principles
Right.
and how they play out in our daily lives.
Oh, I can't wait to uncover even more
This could be good.
fascinating insights. So let's
Yeah, let's dive into some more.
let's take it to the next level.
Let's do it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so we've laid the groundwork, exploring the psychology behind Cialdini's 6 principles.
Right.
But now I'm curious, like, how can we actually put this knowledge into practice in real life situations?
Yeah, that's the exciting part.
Yeah.
These principles are like tools in a persuasion toolbox.
Yeah. Okay.
The key is knowing which tool to use and when.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say I'm trying to get my team on board with a new project idea.
Right.
How can I use these principles strategically to gain their buy-in?
Well, you could start by tapping into the principle of liking.
Oh,
Find common ground, build rapport.
Mm,
By emphasizing those shared goals and values, highlight how this project will benefit the team and, contribute to their professional growth.
so it's not just about like presenting the facts and figures.
Right.
It's about connecting with the team on a personal level.
Exactly. You want to get them excited about the project.
Excited.
Yeah, motivated
Motivated.
to really contribute.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how about authority?
Oh, yeah. You could definitely leverage the principle of authority
Okay.
by showcasing your expertise in this area. Maybe you've led successful projects in the past,
Right.
or you've done extensive research on this particular topic.
Okay.
Share your knowledge and insights to build credibility
Right.
and demonstrate why your idea is worth pursuing.
That makes sense.
Wow.
And to really seal the deal, I could even maybe incorporate some social proof
Yes.
by mentioning how other successful companies have implemented, similar projects and seen positive results.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now you're thinking like a true influencer.
This is so cool.
Yeah.
It's like we're cracking the code of human behavior
Mm-hmm.
and figuring out how to use these insights for good.
Right. And it's important to remember ethical persuasion is about influence,
Mhm.
not manipulation.
Right?
We're not trying to trick people into doing things they don't want to do. We're simply using these principles to communicate more effectively
Right.
and build consensus.
To reach a win-win.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's shift gears a bit and talk about recognizing when these principles are being used on us.
Okay.
How can we become more aware of these subtle influences in our daily lives?
Yeah, that's a crucial skill to develop in today's world
Mhm.
where we're constantly bombarded with persuasive messages.
Right.
One way to become more aware is to just pay attention to your emotions.
What do you mean by that?
Like if you suddenly find yourself feeling pressured
Okay.
to make a decision, or if you notice like a surge of excitement or urgency,
Mhm.
that seems kind of out of proportion to the situation.
Okay.
It could be a sign that one of these principles is at play.
So, like, if I see a limited time offer
Yeah.
for a product I've been wanting,
Right.
but the discount isn't that significant,
Yeah.
I should, like, pause and ask myself, am I really getting a good deal?
Exactly.
Or am I just reacting to that scarcity tactic?
Right. You're just reacting to that fear of missing out.
FOMO.
Yeah, exactly. By becoming more mindful of our emotional responses,
Mhm.
we could start to identify when these principles are being used on us and make more conscious decisions.
It's like developing a sixth sense for persuasion,
I love that.
like a persuasion radar
Yeah.
that helps us navigate the world with more awareness.
And it's not just about, recognizing external influences. It's also about understanding our own internal biases. you
Oh,
know,
okay. Yep.
and how they shape our perceptions and decisions.
So we're not just becoming more persuasive ourselves.
Right.
We're also becoming more savvy consumers
Exactly.
of information and influence.
It's about empowering ourselves to make choices that align with our values and goals,
Okay.
rather than being swayed by these external pressures.
I like that. So we've covered a lot of ground today. But before we wrap up, I have one final question for you. If you could give our listeners just one piece of advice
Okay.
on how to be more persuasive, both ethically and effectively, what would it be?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I think the most important thing is to just focus on building genuine connections with people.
Oh, I like that. Because people are more likely to listen to someone they
Mhm.
trust and respect.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So invest time in getting to know people, find common ground, show empathy, be a good listener,
Yeah.
and always communicate with authenticity and integrity.
Because at the end of the day, persuasion is about building bridges, not
Yeah.
burning them.
Well said.
Yeah.
It's about creating positive and lasting relationships based on mutual understanding and respect.
This deep dive has really opened my eyes
Yeah,
to the subtle yet powerful ways in which we influence each other every day.
for sure.
It's like we've uncovered this hidden language of persuasion
Yeah.
that's constantly at play.
And now that we're aware of this language, we can use it to our advantage
Right.
to communicate more effectively, build stronger relationships, and achieve our goals in a way that feels authentic and aligned with our values.
So what's next on our persuasion adventure?
You know me so well. Now that we've explored the individual applications of these principles,
Okay.
I think it's time to zoom out a bit
Ooh, I like where this is going.
and consider how they operate on a much larger scale.
You're talking about like social movements,
Yes.
political campaigns, global trends.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Imagine how these same principles of persuasion are used to mobilize millions of people,
Wow.
shape public opinion,
Okay.
drive social change.
It's mind-blowing to
Yeah.
think about how these seemingly simple principles
Right?
can have such a profound impact on the world.
Think about how movements leverage social proof by showcasing the sheer number of people
Oh, yeah.
who support their cause,
Like-
or how they utilize authority by enlisting the support of experts and influential figures.
Right. Like getting celebrities on board
Exactly.
to endorse a cause.
And of course, scarcity plays a major role in creating that sense of urgency
Oh, yeah.
and inspiring action.
Okay.
Whether it's a limited time opportunity to donate to a cause or a call to action to address a pressing issue.
Right.
It's fascinating to see how these principles can be applied ethically
Yeah.
to promote positive change and empower individuals to make a difference.
This is getting me really excited about the potential for like positive impact.
Yeah.
So how can we as individuals navigate this complex web of influence and contribute to creating a more just and equitable world?
That's a powerful question.
Yeah.
And one that deserves, careful consideration.
Okay.
But before we delve into that, it's time for us to take a short break
Right.
to gather our thoughts
Okay. Sounds good.
and prepare for this next exciting phase of our exploration.
Okay, so we talked about how these persuasion principles play out, in our personal interactions, even in team dynamics.
Right.
But it's mind-blowing to think about how they shape movements, campaigns, even global trends. Like, where do we even begin to unpack that?
Yeah, it can feel overwhelming, right? But let's start with something we all experience. Advertising.
Oh, yeah.
It's a constant barrage of messages designed to make us want things.
Okay.
Often things we didn't even know we needed until we saw that catchy jingle or that influencer endorsement.
They are masters
Oh.
at using those principles.
For sure.
Think about a perfume ad that features a celebrity you admire.
Right.
Boom. Authority and liking working their magic.
Exactly. And those are just the obvious ones.
Yeah.
Think about how social media uses social proof. We see our friends liking certain products, joining certain challenges,
Right.
and suddenly we feel like,
Yeah.
I need to jump on the bandwagon too.
Like that subconscious pressure to conform and be a part of the in-group. But it's not just about consumerism, right? These principles also drive political campaigns, social movements.
Absolutely. Think about a campaign that uses testimonials
Okay.
from everyday people whose lives have been positively impacted by a certain policy.
Right.
That's social proof, making it relatable, making it persuasive.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about those powerful images
Oh,
Of
yeah.
huge crowds at rallies and protests.
Social proof again.
Mm,
Showing the strength, the momentum of a movement,
right.
making people feel like they're a part of something bigger.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
It's fascinating how these principles can be used for both, good and bad.
right.
A charismatic leader can use their authority, their likability to inspire positive change,
Hmm.
but they can also use those same qualities to manipulate and exploit.
That's the thing about
Yeah.
influence.
It's a double-edged sword.
It can be used for good or for bad.
Right. It makes you realize that understanding these principles isn't just about becoming more persuasive,
Right.
but also about becoming a more critical thinker. Recognizing when they're being used to sway us
Hmm.
and making conscious choices
Yeah.
about what we believe and what we support.
It's like developing a mental filter,
Oh, okay.
allowing us to discern those genuine messages
Right.
from the manipulative tactics.
So how can we apply this newfound awareness in our daily lives?
That's a great question.
It,
It's like we've uncovered this secret language of persuasion,
right.
but how do we become fluent in it
Right.
without, you know, falling into that trap of using it unethically?
Yeah.
I think it starts with just being aware of our own motivations.
Okay.
Are we trying to persuade someone just for our own benefit?
Hmm.
Or are we genuinely trying to help them see a different perspective
Okay. Yeah.
or make a decision that's in their best interest?
It's about checking our intentions
Exactly.
and making sure they're, aligned with our values.
Yeah.
And maybe it's also about being more conscious of how we respond to persuasive messages.
Absolutely.
Right. Like if we find ourselves getting swept up in the excitement of a limited time offer
Oh, yeah.
or feeling pressure to conform
Right.
to what everyone else is doing,
Yeah. Just take a step back and ask, wait, is this really what I want?
Yeah.
It can be so empowering.
This has been such an eye-opening deep dive.
Yeah.
It feels like we've gone beyond just understanding these principles
Right.
to actually understanding like a fundamental part of human behavior,
Mm-hmm.
how we influence each other and how we're influenced by the world.
And that awareness is the first step
Okay.
towards using these principles responsibly,
Mm-hmm.
ethically, to build stronger relationships,
Mm-hmm.
advocate for causes we believe in,
Right.
and just navigate the world with a greater sense of clarity and purpose.
So as you go about your day, dear listener, pay attention.
Yes,
Notice how these principles are at work
they're everywhere.
in everything from the ads you see to the conversations you have. You might be surprised by what you discover.
Absolutely.
And remember, knowledge is power.
Use it wisely
Use it ethically.
and always with a sense of responsibility
Mm-hmm.
for the impact you have on others.
Well, we've reached the end of our deep dive, but the exploration continues.
Right.
Stay curious, dear listener, and keep those brains buzzing.